In the wake of the Parkland school shooting, an outspoken voice suddenly growing quiet, overcome by painful emotions. That's what happened when Florida State Representative Jared Moskowitz spoke before state lawmakers when they passed this historic gun bill in response to last month's shooting that killed 17. Representative Moskowitz, a Democrat, represents Parkland, Florida. He's also a graduate from Douglas High School. His young son's teacher lost a daughter in that shooting, 14-year-old Jamie Guttenberg. Here is what he said just before his colleagues approved a bill that would raise the age to purchase a gun to 21 and allow some teachers to carry guns.
My 4-year-old, who recently learned how to write his name is Samuel. We went with Sam. It was easier for him to write. He had been so happy how to learn to write his name, but he wanted to get better. So we signed him up for a writing class. That writing class was going on in Parkland on the afternoon of February 14th, around the corner from Douglas. And that class was taught by Jen Guttenberg. You see, she lost her daughter, Jamie, while she was teaching my son how to write. She put my kid in the closet when her daughter died. I wanted to say thank you at the funeral. I didn't know how to do that.
Florida State Representative Jared Moskowitz is with me now. And Representative Moskowitz, again, just my deepest condolences. It is extraordinary what Florida was able to accomplish, yesterday. But can you just talk to me first about what you were feeling as you were standing there and speaking up?
Yeah, it's still surreal to me. I've been telling everybody, the city of Parkland, nobody knew where that was. People used to ask me when I served on the city commission, where the hell was Parkland? And I used to try to explain it to them. And now the world knows where Parkland is. It's on the list of Columbine and Sandy Hook and Virginia Tech. And what these families have gone through, what these kids have gone through, it's just unimaginable. These parents should be grieving for their children. They shouldn't be lobbying us to do the obvious, to do what was right for the last decade. These kids and these parents have been tremendous. Without them, this would never have happened. It took Democrats and Republicans. This is a Republican-controlled legislature, a Republican-controlled Senate, a Republican-controlled cabinet, a Republican governor who decided that they had had enough with the NRA and that we were going to stop what's gone on here for the last 20 years and tell the NRA it's finally enough.
I mean, what is stunning about what you all passed in Florida is that it flies in the face of what the NRA stands for, specifically raising the age to purchase any firearm to 21 from 18. Can you just tell me a little bit more about the meat in this legislation that you all passed?
Yeah, the meat in the legislation is that at the end of the day, it answers the ultimate question, which is, would this have prevented the Parkland shooter from committing the heinous crime, terrorist act that he did? And the answer is yes. If you're under the age of 21, you will not be able to buy a firearm. If you try to buy a firearm over the age of 21, there's now mandatory wait periods so that you can go through a background check. If you are a danger to yourself or a danger to others, there's now red flag restraining order language that is in a number of states and supported by Everytown for Gun Control and the Giffords folks that will make sure that you don't have access to weapons, and if you do, that we will take them from you. We strengthened the Baker Act here in Florida, which is for people who are mentally ill, to make sure that they don't have access to weapons. We're going to spend $100 million on school hardening, $100 million on mental health. And this is the complete package. It's a comprehensive package. And yes, there is a component in here that I don't like and that I don't support, which is potentially if there are local communities out there that decide that they want school personnel to go through the training so that they can be armed to prevent this sort of thing happening in their neighborhood, that's in the bill too. And people have to understand that Republicans had to vote for gun control. That's not popular in their neck of the woods. So you got to put stuff in the bill that makes them want to vote for this legislation. And so this is what compromise looks like. It's not clean, it's dirty. It's not a 50-50 compromise, but they moved out of their corner. And they told the NRA, which has had free reign here for 20 years, that enough is enough. We're going to make a difference. And the march is not the march forward, it's going to be the march backwards. It's going to be a retreat on the nonsense that's been going on here with access to guns.
I want to play some sound in the wake of what you all accomplished, and I know this has to go on to the governor for his signature, but in the wake of everything that you all accomplished in Tallahassee, I want to play some sound. This is the president commenting on your work today.
And I want to congratulate the state of Florida and your representatives on some very good legislation that's been passed. I guess they've been listening to me a lot more because unexpectedly they passed concealed carry for some very special teachers that have a great ability with weapons and with guns. And they passed that. It was somewhat surprising to people because they didn't go in thinking about that, but I guess they liked what I said.
They liked what I said. Does the president deserve a little credit for what you all accomplished?
No, I don't need to give the president any credit. I'm just a lowly state representative. He's the president. I shouldn't have even had to do this. My members shouldn't have had to do this. He's got very expensive and fancy paper in his Oval Office. He's got very expensive pens. He could have signed an executive order dealing with bump stocks a long time ago, but we had to deal with it because he refused to. You know, he was talking about gun control, and then all of a sudden he decided talking about tariffs. You know, he's the president. He told us that when he was running that he's not a regular politician, that he's going to be different. He's no different. Okay, he's done the exact same thing that the last couple of presidents have done, which is not enough. I mean, do an executive order on assault weapons ban, Mr. President. Sign an executive order on bump stocks. We don't need to wait for Jeff Sessions. You don't even like Jeff Sessions. What are we waiting for him for? Get some nice paper out. I'm sure you got plenty of pens, and sign an executive order. I don't need any thank you. You heard Andy Pollack. He came to you. He told you that you're going to fix it. You've done nothing to fix it. There's plenty of time. Do something.